What's poppin'? It's Easy. We're back, and this is episode 2 of the Easy Cop podcast. I'm going to upload this podcast on Spotify. So I know it's episode 2, but the first episode was not uploaded onto Spotify. I'm going to start uploading the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. So you have the video form and you have the audio form if you just want that. I'll still do other videos that I upload on YouTube. They're just not the podcast. I hope that all makes sense. I appreciate all the family, friends, and anyone else that has watched my videos, has liked my videos, has subscribed, has shared my videos. It means a lot. It really does. And I ask again that you subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. This is helping me build something that means a lot to me, and that is talking about engaging with like-minded individuals that are into shoes, into sneakers, um, or people that are just getting into sneakers, or people that don't like shoes at all, but somehow came across my page. I like to engage with all walks of life. So this helps me when you guys subscribe and you like. So please subscribe on this YouTube channel if you haven't, and then also subscribe on or follow the Spotify or the Spotify that I am going to upload this podcast on. And then I also have my Instagram if you want to follow me there, see some of my on feeds that I put on that. So appreciate all the love and support. I really do. So the first story I want to talk about is the Zeta Kicks. And I hope I'm saying that right. Zeta, Zadeh. So he was sentenced to roughly 6 years of prison, 70 months. And basically, I'm paraphrasing, in 2013, he started a company. I'm sure it was like a resale company. And then in 2020, we know the sneaker industry was booming. COVID was crazy. Everybody was indoors and people were just buying stuff online. So the sneaker industry was crazy. Everything was selling out. And during this time, he started to take pre-orders, and he was taking too many pre-orders and could not fulfill these pre-orders. So one of the big shoes was the Jubilee Jordan 11. A lot of people pre-ordered that and they never got their order. So in 2022, you know, people filed, I think in 2022, this is when it started all coming out that he was not able to fulfill these orders and he was in a lot of trouble. And it just now, just recently, as in a couple days ago, he was sentenced to 70 months in prison. And you got to be careful out there. I will say, as a consumer, as a purchaser, you have to be careful because it is a dirty, slimy game. The sneaker game is a dirty and slimy game, especially when you are working with resellers. When you're not working with directly with a sneaker boutique, a Finish Line, a Foot Locker, a Dick's Sporting Goods, whatever it may be, if you're working through a reseller or a third party, I mean, obviously the StockX is pretty safe, but they have their problems too. But if you're working with a Craigslist order, or eBay or Facebook, or you're buying shoes off some Instagram seller, a reseller without legit checks and stuff like that, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because they might take your money, like this case, and never, you not get anything for it. It's a dirty game. It really is a dirty game. I have some examples. I'm not going to name the store, but there was a store that I know of that was a resale shop, probably opened around 2019. It's no longer open, but they were doing slimy stuff. They were doing slimy stuff, and the store owner of this resale shop was reaching out to. He was finding sellers on Instagram, asking them if he could bulk buy their take their product, their shoes in his shop, basically like a cosign. And they'd send him 20, 30, whatever, 40 pairs of shoes. He would go on to sell these shoes and then would ghost them They reach out to him like, hey man, where's my money? Where's what these shoes sold? Did they sell? What's going on? Would never hear back from him. And that's on the person that sent 40 pairs of shoes to reseller, trusting him as if he's going to do the right thing and get you your money when they sell. So you got to be careful. Just because someone has a store or a nice following on Instagram, if it's not like a corporate company, if it's not like a Foot Locker, a Finish Line, a sneaker boutique, like a Soul Classics in Columbus, if you're going through like resale shops and you're doing business with them, it's a dirty, slimy game. The margins are so low for these resale shops that they will do just about anything to make a dollar. They're trying to keep their business open. So, unfortunately, if that requires someone being dumb and sending someone 30 pairs of shoes without any type of payment, and then that store sells all your shoes and they ghost you, that happens. So you got to be smart out here. Don't do pre-orders. I think there was another pre-order recently. It was with the Jordan 5 Awakes. A whole bunch of people got scammed on that. If someone's sending you pre-order links, just don't do it. If you're not getting it from the source directly, from Nike, from Adidas, from their distributors, as in like Finish Line or Foot Locker, Dick's Sporting Goods, if you're not getting it from those sources, just at the worst, get it from a StockX or a GOAT. They have their problems too, or eBay Legit Check. They got their problems too, but you at least have a little bit of leeway. If something goes wrong, even with StockX or GOAT or something, they'll probably help you out. But if you're going through just some dude that has a whole bunch of following on Instagram or Twitter and he's selling pre-orders, that's risky. It's a risky business. I've never done it. I personally don't like getting shoes unless I'm getting them for retail. There are certain shoes that I do buy resale, but I'm usually buying them at minimum from a StockX or GOAT or eBay Legit Check. And then when I get my pair, I'm checking it like 10 times, going on YouTube, looking at people's videos, comparing before I cut the tag. Very rarely am I going up to my local resale shop and being like, can I get these? They might be real, but I just can't trust it. I can't trust it. So don't do if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. So I wouldn't do the pre-orders. Let this be a lesson. And then I got one story about how grimy and dirty the sneaker resale game is. So it's a Union Jordan 4, right? Dope shoe. I got 2 pairs for retail, size 12. I got 1 pair from Undefeated, and then I got 1 pair from Nike sneakers. I can't remember which one delivered first, but I wore the pair that delivered first. Okay, so then I get the second pair. I don't double up on anything because I just have too many pairs of shoes. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sell that other pair, and then that'll make, if I make $50 profit, that'll take off the 50 from the retail pair that I bought. I like to think of it that way. Oh, I got the Undefeated for 160 after I sold the second pair. I try to make justify shoe purchases like that and make them cheaper. So I call this resale shop up. I'm like, hey, I got a size 12 on the Undefeated 4. What can I get? I'm pretty sure he said like 300. All right, cool. Bet I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna come up on my lunch break. I'm gonna come up and sell them to you. He's like, all right. So lunch break comes. I go to the sneaker resale shop, local resale shop. I get there. I'm like, no, I called you on the phone. You said 300 for the Undefeated 4s. All right, cool. Boom, boom. Give him the shoes. He pulls them out. I haven't even touched these shoes because I already had the first pair I got. So I haven't even touched these. Same size. I know I'm selling them. Didn't even pull them. Didn't even open the box, the lid. So he opens them up, looks at them, going all crazy looking at them. And then he goes, you see this little spot right here? And it's like it's not a scuff. It's like the movement of the suede, just kind of like it's a little darker because, it's suede and it's gonna, it gets pushed a little bit or whatever, new buck or whatever the material is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like a defect by any means. It's just, these shoes get made in factories. There might be a little minor movement of the suede or something like that. Nothing big. So he's like, you see this right here? I don't, I'm going to go to the back and see if I can clean this off real quick. But if I can't, I don't know if we can give you the 300 that I said on the phone. I'm thinking, bro, this man is going to take my shoe in the back and try to use cleaner on it. And then if it comes back not the way that he thinks it should be, he's going to give me 270. So I'm already ticked off. I'm like, bro, I just came here. We talked on the phone. So anyway, I'm like, all right, cool. So he goes back there. This dude took like 10, 15 minutes. I'm talking about for the smallest little mark. Like, as a buyer, if I got that shoe like from Nike or anyone, StockX, I wouldn't have thought anything about it. So he's taking 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, bro, come on. So he comes back. He's like, yeah, man, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the scuff out, or this mark out. I could do 270 for these. And I'm like, bro, that's nothing. I'm like, man, that is not a mark. Like, I haven't even opened these I haven't even opened this box. Like, there's no way I'm taking 270 when you told me 300 on the phone because you see some little mark that you can't get out. I'm like, that shoe's fine. So then he has his coworker there. He's like, let me see it or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess it's a little something. So I'm like, man, nah, I ain't doing that 270. Like, I'll just sell them on my own or whatever. But like, I called you guys before and you said 310. And I was like, I haven't even opened the box. And he's like, all right, well, let me see if I can call the store owner, see what he thinks or whatever. So he calls him and the guy was like, yeah, take him. So he ended up taking him, but how slimy and dirty it was, he took him for the 300 or 310, I can't remember. But the game is so slimy in the resale industry that he was trying to find the smallest mark and try to see if I was going to fall for it. Because a lot of people are going to fall for that and be like, oh, yeah, I see what you mean. No, they ain't perfect. No shoe comes out the factory perfect. So these shops can find anything they want. They could be like, oh, there's a little glue stain. Yeah, that's on every pair. Every pair has something like that. Minor defects. So it's a dirty game, man. It's a dirty game. And they'll try to get you. They'll try to get you. So then I got home and then I looked at StockX and, prices were starting to drop like 290. So I think he was just trying to get over on me because he was trying to squeeze out every $10, $15 he could get. So you got to be careful out here. You got to be careful out here. And then one other thing is that fast money. If you see in these resale shops, these resale shop owners, these guys on Instagram flexing, they driving cyber trucks, they're wearing chrome hearts, and all this is coming from a resale business. There's a good chance that fast money is going to dry up. That fast money is going to dry up because it just always does. It always catches up. I mean, there's a few resellers and stuff out there that really got it down pat. But with this Zeta Kicks dude, he had that fast money. He had them luxury cars. He had them handbags. His wife was probably getting used to moving that way. And then COVID came and business was booming. I'm sure money was coming in. He was selling what he needed to sell. And his head got big. And he said, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm just gonna take these big old pre-orders. It's been working the past year. I'm gonna keep doing it. And didn't have the right parameters set up. Didn't have the right fail-safe set up. Was spending stupid money on all these luxury cars, and then wasn't able to fulfill those pre-orders. Was spending that money because he had to live that fast money lifestyle. Got the man in prison for 7 years. Now he's got to pay back $15 million with his uh, uh, guy he was doing business with. So you see it all over the place, man. People flex what they have on Instagram, all that stuff. And you got to remember that fast money dries up. So uh, some people are well off and they can afford every $500-$600 shoe. Um, but you just got to know, man. And this it's a grimy industry, and you'll see these resellers online, and you think they live in the craziest life, and it's easy to do what they do. One, it's not easy to do what they do, and two, they ain't swimming in money as much as you may think. I can bet you that. So that's my 2 cents on that. And then the Kobe Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever colorway came out today, re-released, I think, or exclusive access. And I've said on my previous episodes and podcasts that I'm not buying any more shoes for 5 months, and this is gonna be the longest time since I've been an adult where I haven't bought shoes. But it's a sacrifice, not really that much of a sacrifice, but I'm getting married, so I got to do the right thing, right? And so these Caitlin Clark Kobe's pop up on my sneakers app, and it's like exclusive access while supplies last. I'm like, all right, let me see if they got the size 12, but let me first check StockX and see what the prices are. Again, I can't buy shoes right now, and I know this. So prices are going for like $435 for a size 12. So I'm like, all right. A little bit of me, a little bit of that addictive personality was like, let me see if should I just buy these real quick and then flip them for like 380 or 350 and make the money. And something told me, nah, you made a commitment. You're not buying any shoes, no matter if they resell them for 700, whatever. You're not buying any shoes until after the wedding. So I didn't buy them, and I was fine with it. And then I started to see on this Discord group I'm in all these hits. Boom, boom, boom. All these people are getting hits. And I'm like, man, those shoes are probably going to drop. Sure enough, 20 minutes after that exclusive access release, that 435 price on StockX for a size 12 was down to like 320. And people haven't even got their pairs yet. So them resellers, panic, and they're like, let me get these off, which is smart, because once all those Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever Kobe's get in hands, next week, dipping. That price is going to be like probably 250 or retail, or close to retail. And that's tricky too, because all of us that buy shoes, you have to admit, sometimes you buy shoes because of the price, and you're like, okay, well, these are going for 430. The retail's $190. I kind of like them, but I don't love them. I need to see them in hand, right? So then you're like, I'm gonna get them. So then you buy a shoe that says it's going for 435, and then you get it in hand, and you might you might love it, because that happens too, but you might not really like it. And then you're like, all right, well, I'm gonna sell them. And then the resale price had done drop down to retail, and then you're telling yourself like, damn, I ain't even gonna make no money off of these. So you ended up buying a shoe that you really didn't want because it was going for 430 at the time. And then now you got that shoe in hand going for retail, and then you either sell it and just get your money back, or like me, I've done in the past, I'm like, well, if I'm not going to get any money, I like them enough to keep them. So like that happens too. So I think it's good for me, and I think it's good for all people, that consumers, especially sneaker consumers, to maybe take a break and challenge yourself, because I'm sure you have shoes in your collection that you bought just because you thought they were going to resell. You were like, well, it's a win-win situation. I can resell them, or if I don't like them, I can sell them. But that's not the case every time, because sometimes they don't end up reselling, and then you don't really end up liking them that much. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I just thought that was a funny little situation that happened with me, because the consumer in me was like, man, even though I knew I couldn't buy them, I was like, I got all excited that I got exclusive access. So that's, good marketing by Nike. They know what they're doing with that app and those notifications that you get. Okay. Here's a quick, something quick I was just thinking about. As someone who likes to wear, you know, pretty much a different pair of shoes every day, or at least like 5 days a week, because the collection is, not even bragging, is just big. And if I'm gonna have something, I have to use it, right? I have to wear it. That's just how I am. I'm not gonna have something and spend my hard-earned dollars on something and not use or wear. So I like to wear as much as I can throughout the week. If I'm going to the gym, if I'm going out with my fiance to get like a quick lunch or something, just put it to the pavement. So, uh, you know, March through March through October, perfect, man. I'm rocking all my shoes. I'm getting out there. I'm getting wears. I'm getting the value out of what I spent my money on. Well, November, December, January, the months we are in right now, February, terrible, man. Like it is just wet. Like right now, I'm looking outside. It's wet. It's wet from like sprinkling rain. It's also wet. The ground is just wet from the snow from like 2 weeks ago melting. And it's just where I live in Ohio. It's gray skies. And for a shoe, especially like a white shoe, certain shoes just need that sun to just bounce off of the shoe. And you kind of want those nice conditions, the sunny, dry weather. So I was just thinking, like, you know, the winter months, I don't rock my shoes as much as I would like, and it's one because of the weather, one because of the precipitation, one because of the cloudiness, and then like one because of like the coldness. So I don't know. That's just a little food for thought. I'm like, man, these winter months are tough in Ohio if you're rocking shoes. Like if you look at my Easy E Instagram page, you'll see I've only had it for 2 years now, but I bet there's a common theme of me posting, because I like to post what I'm wearing usually that day. Every now and again, I'll post something I wore a couple days ago, but usually that day, I'm just like, all right, let me take a quick pic. But you probably see a theme of like very active posting what I wear in the summer months, maybe early fall, but late fall to winter is dead. So I cannot wait to have the spring back. In late February, I'm going to Florida for my bachelor trip. Me and the boys, me and eight of the boys are going to Florida and we're golfing. So maybe I'll bring some shoes to wear out there and enjoy the warm weather then. And then when we get back, it'll be almost March. So we're not too far away, but man, it's not as enjoyable to wear sneakers in the fall and winter. I've came to conclusion. All right. Lastly, obviously, I'm getting married in May 15th to be exact. And, I've talked with my family and friends about this. And I've also talked to my fiance about this. So I sent her my one of my previous YouTube videos of me being like, you know what, guys, it's been tough for me. Times have been tough. I was just playing it up like I'm sad and sulking. I'm like, I can't buy shoes anymore for 5 months. And my close friends were cracking up at the video because they just thought it was funny that I was, they're like, you would have thought you had drug addictions or something. And my dad was cracking up too. But I sent it to my fiance, and she didn't find it as funny. She wasn't upset, but she didn't find it as funny as my dad and the boys. So the content is for certain people. Let's just say that. Um, but yeah, I love my fiance to death. She's the best, and excited for our future. With all that being said, the day after our wedding is May 16th, and the band Jordan 1 Lows are releasing on May 16th. So I posted on my Instagram story, like, this is the perfect shoe to grab when I can start copping shoes again the day after my wedding. And from the altar, my fiance sniped down that idea right away. She said, no. And I get it. It's the day after the wedding, and we're probably going to be with friends and family, eating brunch and having a good old time. I'm not going to be thinking about copping sneakers, but it was just the thought, like, oh, these are the day after my wedding. I do like the band one colorway, and the Jordan lows. I'm starting to like the Jordan ones a little low, Jordan 1 lows a little bit more. So I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity. And it just so happens to be the day after our wedding. So we'll see. We'll see if I end up even getting them. But it might be a nice little wedding gift to myself. So I don't think I'm gonna go pick them up in store that day, or maybe even get them that day. If I do get them that day, it'll probably be like online on the sneakers app, or if I can get them online elsewhere. But that's the life of the sneakerhead, man. Like I got a time frame of where I cannot buy shoes, and I'm already looking at the day after when I can buy shoes. So the addiction is real, but there's a lot of worse things, a lot of other worse things you could be addicted to. So way I see it, man, if you got on some clean shoes, you got a certain confidence about you. You go to the gym with those shoes. You work on your health. You work on your body, your steps, your mental health. All that is fine. It's fine. You just can't let it over-consume you. Um, and sometimes you just gotta let go of some of the collection to bring in more. And I've learned to do that as well. So um, always got to remember family, health, God, all that comes before any materialistic item, and keep that in mind. And I will continue to do that. So that's it. That is it of episode 2 of the Easy Cop podcast. This one's been fun. Again, it's going up on Spotify. I'm going to promote it on Spotify. And then, if you could please help me on this journey. Please subscribe and like this video. It will go a long way. It really does mean a lot. All right. Stay blessed.